Neal Stephenson's Cryptonomicon is a monumental work that blends historical fiction with speculative technology, wrapped in a narrative that spans both World War II and the late 1990s. For those familiar with Stephenson's other works, like Snow Crash or The Diamond Age, Cryptonomicon feels like a natural progression. This time, however, he explores cryptography, finance, and global politics, presenting them in a way that makes it seem like he's one step ahead of reality. The novel follows two parallel timelines. In one, Lawrence Waterhouse, a cryptanalyst during World War II, works with the Allies to crack codes and outwit the Axis powers. Alongside him is Bobby Shaftoe, a Marine tasked with carrying out the physical side of these covert operations. The action is intense, but it's also full of Stephenson's classic digressions, long technical explanations that are dense, but somehow never boring. The World War II storyline is where Stephenson delves deeply into the history of cryptography, with references to the Enigma machine and the Ultra program. The staggering amount of research is evident. It's not just a historical backdrop, it's essential to understanding how cryptography works, even today. The second timeline is set in the 1990s. Here we follow Randy Waterhouse, Lawrence's grandson, who is part of a team of tech entrepreneurs trying to establish a data haven, a place where information can be stored securely, free from government or corporate interference. Though speculative, the concept is also ahead of its time. Cryptonomicon was published in 1999, long before Bitcoin or blockchain became household terms. Stephenson had his finger on the pulse of where technology and privacy were headed, and it's fascinating to see how much of what he envisioned has come to pass. At the heart of Cryptonomicon is cryptography. Whether it's Lawrence's obsession with cracking wartime codes or Randy's efforts to safeguard digital information, the novel continuously explores the power of encryption. Stephenson doesn't shy away from technical detail. In fact, in Cryptonomicon, his penchant for intricate explanations reaches new heights. We're treated to long sections on cryptographic algorithms, how data can be hidden and uncovered, all central to the story. You don't need to be a math genius to follow along, but it certainly helps if you enjoy tackling complex ideas. That's not to say the novel is all heavy technical material. The characters bring the story to life. Lawrence is brilliant but socially awkward, constantly running calculations in his head, a reflection of how intellectually intense the war effort was. Bobby Shaftoe is the action hero of the World War II storyline, but even he is layered. His brutal war experiences are not sugar-coated. In the modern timeline, Randy Waterhouse, a geek-turned-entrepreneur, mirrors the rise of tech culture in the late 90s. He's not just trying to make money, he's aiming to reshape the world through technology. What ties everything together is the theme of secrecy. In both timelines, characters are dealing with hidden information, whether wartime secrets or digital data. This raises a fundamental question: who controls information, and who should have the right to it? This is where Cryptonomicon feels especially relevant today. We live in an era where debates about internet privacy, encryption, and digital sovereignty are daily occurrences. Stephenson was exploring these issues before they fully entered public consciousness. Beyond its intellectual heft, Cryptonomicon is, at its core, a novel about legacy. The Waterhouse family's involvement in cryptography spans generations, and the weight of history presses down on the modern-day characters. They're not just tech entrepreneurs, they're part of a lineage of codebreakers, mathematicians, and thinkers. It's a reminder that the digital revolution didn't spring up from nowhere. It's built on decades of technological advancement, much of it tied to war and conflict. The structure of the novel, switching between two timelines, is ambitious and, for the most part, effective. There's a rhythm that keeps you hooked, although some readers might find the pacing uneven. Stephenson often spends pages exploring a cryptographic concept before shifting to a scene of intense action or business negotiations. It's a balancing act between intellectual exploration and narrative tension. While it might feel dense for some, it rewards patience. Stephenson's style is notoriously detailed, and Cryptonomicon is no exception. If you're not a fan of his lengthy forays into technical subjects, this might be a slog. But for those who enjoy delving into the intricacies of cryptography, economics, or military strategy, there's plenty to immerse yourself in. Historically, Stephenson stays accurate to major events and figures from World War II, though he takes some liberties in blending fiction with reality. Characters like Alan Turing appear, and the novel touches on real historical operations like Ultra, which was pivotal in cracking German codes. However, what Stephenson excels at is elevating these historical details into a broader discussion about the nature of information. It's not just about cracking codes, it's about understanding the role of information in shaping the world, both in war and peace. In terms of technology, Cryptonomicon was ahead of its time. The concept of a data haven, for instance, feels prophetic. In a world where cryptocurrency and blockchain are now buzzwords, Stephenson was already imagining a future where digital information could be stored and traded without interference. It's fascinating to see how much of the novel's speculative technology has parallels in today's world. Ultimately, Cryptonomicon is a novel about the power of ideas. Whether it's mathematical formulas, cryptographic techniques, or financial systems, the novel constantly revisits how ideas, whether protected, shared, or hidden, shape the world. It's a sprawling, ambitious book that asks a lot of its readers, but the payoff is immense if you're willing to go along for the ride. It's not for everyone. Some might find it too dense, too long, or too technical. But for those who appreciate a mix of historical intrigue, speculative tech, and deep philosophical musings on the nature of information, Cryptonomicon is an unforgettable experience. So, if you're into cryptography, history, or just love novels that make you think long after you've turned the last page, Cryptonomicon is definitely worth your time. And if you've already read it, let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews like this. Thanks for watching.